everybody. It says we're live, but I have to go check on my phone just to make sure.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. Hopefully you can see us and hear us.
Yes, it looks like it's on, at least on my computer. Let me check my phone real quick. I always gotta check twice.
Yes.
And then I'm gonna introduce you to Addie in 1 second. Let me get the link too, because everybody always tries to go to where the event is, but it's not there. It's like in the Facebook group. So people get confused, which I understand because it is confusing.
I saw that last time. Yeah. Just in the Facebook group.
I'm going to drop this in the event for you guys too. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. Just everybody can find us. And let me go over here and drop it real quick. Okay. And the other thing is you can never find events in this Facebook group now. It's so weird. In any of the Facebook groups, it seems like.
I know.
Okay.
I usually just,
Yeah, well, you have a Facebook group, so it's like, I don't know if you've had events in there yet, but it's like really hard to find.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, there's 4 people here. Hi, guys.
Hi.
So glad to have you guys here. So I'm Kip Tolson. I'm the admin of the group, in case you haven't met me yet or know that I run this group. And I'm a traveling therapist. I'm a digital nomad. I live on the road, basically in Airbnbs with my boyfriend, and we travel around the world. And I work as a therapist and as a person with other side hustles to bring in income. So that's me. And, as a traveling therapist, I got the idea that I really wanted to make a membership community for us as traveling therapists, because one, it's kind of lonely on the road. We don't really have like a huge community where we all can just like sit down and talk to each other, like have a game night or, fun, like a meditation circle or, I have all kinds of ideas about this, but basically I wanted to put together this membership, one, to give resources and education about just like traveling and being a therapist, so that unique like intersection between those two, because we're a really special breed. I think that, we're trying to do this work on the road, and we also have this like wanderlust we can't like fulfill, and we want to keep going and exploring, but sometimes things get in the way. So I wanted to make this membership for those of us that are already on the road, and also those of us that are, just starting out and maybe are scared to get on the road. So part of the membership I made, I was like, I want to have a travel coach involved in the membership, somebody that will run some of the trainings, and we're going to talk more about that, but that's where Addie comes in. Addie's also a traveling therapist. So I would love to just turn it over to you, Addie, and have you let the group know about you and then what your role is going to be, and we can kind of chit chat. If you guys have questions about anything, drop them in the comments and we'll answer them for you as we go.
Yeah, so hello, everybody. My name is Addie Wieland, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I'm licensed in Texas and also a traveling therapist. So I was thinking about this because Kim just posted this really cool post on her Instagram about like her story and her history. And so it made me think about my own story and my own history. And so I was like jotting down time, because I feel like dates and times get away from you so much. But so a little bit about my history as a traveling therapist. So in 2019, I was working at a college counseling center in South Texas, where I was living at the time with my husband and my daughter. So I was working at a college counseling center. I loved it, but we didn't really love the area that we were living. We were trying to figure out what we wanted to do. We were traveling to visit my husband's in-laws. We were at Buc-ee's. If anybody knows about Buc-ee's, it's like
I went for the first time recently, but go ahead.
Yeah, it's kind of like I think it's only in like the South, but I think it's in other different states, but I'm not really sure. Anyways, it's like this huge gas station that's kind of crazy. So we were in Buc-ee's, and I look over and there's a huge RV there, and I just look at my husband and I'm like, what if we just like lived in that and like did that? And he would be like, that would be super cool, So it's just this idea, not anything like big or anything. Then I started researching it, and shout out Amber Lida. At the time, her group was just kind of starting, and she was talking about online therapy. And so I was like, okay, like online therapy is a thing, like I can do this, So I started a very baby, like private practice as I was working at the college counseling center online, just to dip my toe in. in 2019, and we kind of started dreaming and thinking about, being on the road and just traveling, and me working, living in an RV. And so we purchased our RV, which is like really exciting. And I can tell if maybe we do like a whole thing about RVs or something if people are interested.
We totally could. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know it's like a whole thing about like what to buy and all that stuff. So we purchased our RV, we purchased our truck, and then then the pandemic hit. So we were like, "Ooh, what do we do? Do we stay?" That was kind of figuring that out, but we decided to go for it. I was looking at my dates. So my last day at work was like July 2020, and then we like hit the road like August 2020. So that's right after that. And I worked have been working like as a therapist that entire time. Yeah, so it's kind of crazy. So now
that's awesome.
3 years on the road, living in an RV. So I live in an RV with my husband and 2 kids, a 8-year-old and a 2-year-old. My 2-year-old is practically like just born on the road. So that's kind of crazy. It's all that we know. But yeah, and so I feel like different RVers do things differently. And like him, goes Airbnbs, and traveling therapists, people go international, like it can look all different ways. The way that we do it is we usually travel like 6 to 7 months out of the year and kind of go do fun things. Right now we are in Wisconsin, in like Door County area, which is really close to like Lake Michigan, and a really pretty area up here. And then we're home, we call it home Texas, for like a few months, usually during like the winter. So that's kind of how we do it in my traveling therapist journey.
And I love that you're doing it with the kids. I think that's such a roadblock for people. They're like, well, I've got young kids, I'm never going to be able to travel. So that was part of my thinking too, bringing Addie in, was like, she's figured this part of it out. So, I hope that can help other people too. If you really want to do this, she can help you navigate that part of it,
Yes. Two young kids in a very small space. So it definitely is possible, and can be done. Just some logistics to figure out, of course.
Yeah, and of course, I'm already wanting to dive into like an interview. So tell us about how the kids do this and that, but we're going to reserve that stuff for the actual membership. And like Addie said, I mean, maybe we'll do something on RVs specifically, or just that type of lifestyle. Because I think when I talked with you the first time, Addie, you were telling me things like boondocking and just all this stuff I'd never even heard of. I'm like, what is that? What is that? So she's a wealth of knowledge around this stuff. And did you say you guys were going to go international? Were you thinking of international after this? Did you tell me that?
We are setting our hopes on international, hopefully next year. We're looking into like a couple of different programs. There's a couple of different things, like for families that want to go international, where they kind of like set you all up, and I can talk more about that too. But that is our hope and our plan, is to go international. So we'll, fingers crossed, next year, maybe the after.
I think it's going to be interesting too to see how the membership evolves with like what we're doing and what the audience wants and that sort of thing. Like we're going to be Caribbean all winter, island hopping. Yeah, basically.
Oh, that's cool.
But we're trying to figure that stuff out. So, I hope that our journeys are going to reflect to the people in the membership as well. Like we're trying to figure out like visas. Like we realized in the Dominican Republic, like they have a visa for 30 days, but even the lady at the Airbnb was like, no, you just overstay. It's fine. And when you're ready to leave, you just pay a fee at customs, and it's like no big deal. And we're like, ooh, that sounds like you could get arrested, or that sounds a little shady to me. But we were reading online, like the consulate's page or whatever, and it's a real thing. Like in the chat, they're like, yeah, you could just pay us like 80 pesos a day that you stay over, or something like that. So,
as visas is a whole thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I feel like as we sort of evolve with this whole thing, we're going to help the members too, like new and old, people that are traveling and people that are just trying to start out with the whole thing. So
yeah,
I'm excited, guys. I'm really excited to bring you all this awesome content. So let me look at the comments for a second.
Yes.
Okay, Jenny's here. Hi, Jenny. She says, hi. I see you. Jenny is a member. She joined. I'm so excited, Jenny. I can't wait to see what you do. Elizabeth.
Welcome.
Yes, welcome, Jenny. And Elizabeth says, hello, glad to attend. Hi, Elizabeth. Steven's here. Hi, Steven.
Oh, hey,
Stephen,
Steven. Yeah, Steven's my business bestie.
yes, Stephen actually joined the membership too. So I'm super excited about that, to have Stephen on board. And I'm probably gonna hit you up, Stephen, to do a couple things in the membership too, since you
Yes,
are living in your van.
yes, yes. So he's lots of knowledge on that
Oh
aspect.
yeah,
And
tons of
that is
knowledge.
the kind of like cool thing about a traveling therapist is just no matter what you're thinking about doing, probably someone out there has done it. And so it just can look so many different ways, really, which is just what I love about it. Like the possibilities I feel like are endless. And really you don't even necessarily have to do it like full time either. Like some people just want to go for like a month or so. And there's just so many different ways to do it. So it's pretty cool.
I know, and I'm already thinking like we need a whole month on van life, RV life, Airbnb life, and something else,
Yeah. That's like
hostels, people
so
that
many
live in
different ways.
hostels, something like that.
Yes.
So
Or house
in this,
swaps or, people do house swaps.
yes, trusted house sitters, like I could already see like a whole panel in like one of the months around that
Yeah.
topic. I think that would be amazing.
Mhm.
And that's the other thing I want to emphasize about this membership is right now it's like a founding member like setting. So basically we've kind of got the first 3 months planned out, but I want the founding members to help me shape it. So, and Addie
Right.
shape it. So we want you guys to give us like feedback, like what actually is going to be helpful for you in this membership. We don't want to just come up with content. Like I want to make sure it's like relevant to what's going on with you guys in the membership.
Yeah.
So
Like
we can
what's
like
going to
really
be
go ahead, Addie.
helpful,
Sorry.
Sorry. Just like what's going to be helpful for you guys and what you guys want to know, or what
Yes,
to talk about, guest speakers to bring on.
exactly. Curate content. Do you want game night? Do you want yoga every month? Like we want to know that stuff.
Yeah.
So we got some more comments. Let's see. Um, let's see. Jamar says, greetings. Hi, Jamar. Stephen says Bucky's is the best.
That's funny.
You guys haven't been to Bucky's. It's like a must do. Like, is it
Like a
only in the
plug.
South?
I think it's like I'm terrible with geography, but
Yeah.
I think it's in Texas and some other states surrounding like Texas, but I don't know if it goes much further past like
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. I think it kind of cuts off. And then Elizabeth says, I started on Trusted House Sitters a couple of years ago. I love it. Okay, Elizabeth, we're
Oh,
gonna
okay,
hit you up for our panel.
Yes, that's a good idea because that's a good option too for people that have a house and yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's basically like pet sitting, really. It's people that
Right.
are going away for a long time and they want somebody to come into their home, watch the pets, and then you can live in their home for free, basically. I think, right, Elizabeth?
Right. Yeah. I can tell more about that. I could talk a little bit just about like the traveling coach.
I would
Kind of like
love
what
that.
to yeah. So this is obviously like a brand new position, so we're still figuring it out, and of course like what you guys want from me and how I can like better help you. But I think kind of the way that we were thinking about is 5 different maybe ways. So the first one being like expert advice. So obviously I've been doing this for a while, so I kind of know the ins and outs, like the internet stuff, which can sometimes be a mess, or just like technology stuff, like what kind of things do you need, like computers, all of that, all cameras, all good stuff, how I run my business. So I'm happy to, talk about all of that just in terms of expert advice. RV stuff, obviously, I know, or even just like travel planning, like the things that we use, memberships, ways to save money, all of that stuff, things to do in different areas, because we've pretty much been all over the US. So we have all of the good recommendations, especially kid-friendly stuff. We definitely spend a lot of time in playgrounds and children museums.
Nice.
So we know all the best ones. So expert advice is kind of like one thing. Definitely mentorship. So we haven't really fully like fleshed this out yet, but I want to offer like some one-to-one like coaching or meetings with you guys if you guys are interested in that. We'll have to kind of figure out what that really looks like, but yes, definitely like some mentorship. I'm going to be doing some tree workshops. So like Kim, and I don't know if we might share the 3 months that we have planned for the traveling membership. So
Yes, I'll share that in just a little while. It's really exciting.
Yeah, so I'll be doing some trainings on that. Was the first one on like how to build a online practice and like how to be a traveling therapist. So that's kind of the one that I'll be talking about. And then of course I'll be very involved in the group, just in the membership and engaging and talking to you guys, hopefully answering any of your questions that you have. And ongoing support. So those are kind of like the 5 areas that we were thinking about that I would kind of come in. Kim is definitely the brains with all of like the content and the ideas. And she has so many like different amazing ideas. And so I'm kind of coming in just with that ongoing support, day-to-day stuff, to be there to answer any questions, or again, like one-on-one stuff. Just happy to share all of our knowledge and expertise.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it. So,
Yeah.
let's see, we did have a question. Jay, hey Jay. Jay says, what did Jay say? What about school? So I'm guessing that he means school for the kids. I typed in school for the kids. So what
I'm
do you,
guessing. That's awesome.
yeah. So do you have any thoughts on that, Addie? Because I know that's like a huge, I know your kids are young still, but that's like a huge thing for people. Like, what do I do with the kids for school?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different options. Obviously, like homeschooling is one option, which I know is a pretty like big endeavor. Specifically for Texas, like the homeschooling laws are very lax, but I know depending on the state that you're in, sometimes they're a bit stricter. But also, I would say not to like go really in weeds with this, but when you become a traveling therapist, you can also change your domicile, like where you file your taxes and do all of your things. Like Florida is a really common one, because schools are lax and also taxes are pretty cheap. And then also I think like North Dakota randomly for some reason, but that kind of depends in terms of like homeschool laws. I'm pretty sure that most states are pretty lax on homeschooled, except for like the East. The East Coast is sometimes a little bit stricter, but I'm not super familiar with that. So homeschooling is an option. So like I said, my daughter just turned 5 in February. My son is 2. Right now, we're kind of just exploring alternative types of education. A really big thing in the world that I won't go super into right now is like more unschooling. It's basically just creating opportunities for your kids to learn like all the time, wherever that you are, not really following a curriculum per se, kind of whatever they're interested in, you just provide things for them to help them like learn. So a quick example of that is the other day, me and my daughter were visiting a friend. We were just in Minneapolis. A lot of things we like to do is visit our friends we don't get to see. So we're visiting a friend. She lives in a super cute, like old neighborhood where it's really walkable. Those are my favorite. So me and her decided to have a coffee date and walk to like the local coffee shop that was like a few blocks away. We love going to like on coffee dates. So we went on a coffee date, and when we were in there was this huge coffee grinder like machine kind of out in the front, not out in the back. Like it was massive, and the guy was like doing all this stuff with it.
Oh,
She was
cool.
super like interested in that. So what I did was I just asked the guy like, hey, she's really interested, could you just like give us a tutorial about this? He was more than happy to. He like showed her the beans, like the beans before, the beans after, just walked her through this whole lesson on how this like coffee the coffee grinder, I guess it's it's like
like a roaster kind of like
roaster.
yeah.
Yes, roaster. So he was showing her the whole thing, like explaining it to her. It was like a whole lesson on that, right? So we just try to take opportunities like that just present itself and learn that way. But yeah, so there's homeschooling. A lot of people also do like online. There's a lot of online schooling. Outschooling is a really popular one where you can just go on there, and anything that your kids are interested in, like Spanish classes or guitar lessons or anything, like they have a lot of options there that you pay for. Obviously with homeschooling, there's lots of great curriculums that are out there. So that's the direction that we're heading. But also we're kind of open to, sorry, I'm kind of rambling, but like if we're thinking about going international, we've heard that there's a lot of great like international schools. So we're thinking about maybe putting them in that one if we go international for a little bit. When we're home in Texas, we do have this great Mother's Day Out program that we put them in like 2 days a week. That's kind of like we can just join whenever. So there's different options to kind of like think about in terms of like school stuff. But yeah.
That's such an awesome answer. Yeah. One of the months I envision having a month about like pets, kids, elderly parents, like, some
Yeah, that's a
experts
good one.
around that stuff on how to manage all that. So, because I know that's really something that holds people back from being able to do what Addie's doing, what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's a good, yeah.
So, yeah. And I'm trying to think like the Rambling Ramsbaws. They're a family on the road too. They're like in a travel trailer, and they they are doing homeschooling, but the school already has a virtual school set up. So the kids basically just log into their school and they just do school on the road. And it's
Oh,
like,
yeah, see?
yeah, I was like, that's so cool. I think they're in North Carolina. I think is somewhere in North Carolina is where they're based. But I was like, wow, that's amazing. So, it might be as simple as checking with your local school system to see, like, do they have something like that? Um,
That is true, because I know for the pandemic, a lot of them moved to that, so that could be like another option too.
mhm,
And
yeah,
another question that sometimes comes up, especially with just like socialization or like making friends, on the road. But my kids make friends everywhere we go. We have a pretty like robust RV community that sometimes we meet up with friends and like hang out with them. And like I said, we really like to meet our friends on the road. So all of my friends or my husband's friends that have like moved outside of Texas that we wouldn't normally get to see, like we stop and see them. Right now, like I said, we just stopped and my friend had 2 boys, so my daughter got to play with them the whole time. They go to lots of playgrounds, lots of children museums. I would say they're like really good at making friends actually, because they kind of talk
nice.
to all the time. So they get a lot of socialization. I wouldn't really worry about that. Like there's lots of opportunities to
That's
socialize
so
them
cool.
in that aspect. Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, and I talked to somebody, I think they were in an RV, and they said that like there's even like homeschooling RVing communities where like they meet up for seasons and they play like sport, like little league with the kids, and they develop communities that way. I can't think of the name of it, but anyway, there's lots of options for it. So we definitely need to cover that one of the months in the membership to give like super solid resources for that. I'm excited about that. Maybe I'll even bring in an expert like on homeschooling, like a company that does homeschooling or something to give some ideas around that.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
cool. I have a really great friend that talks a lot about unschooling. She could be a good person. She's been
Oh,
doing it for like well, they've been on the road for 7 years, but her daughter actually graduated from unschooling. I mean, it's not really unschooling, and is in
oh,
college
that's
now.
interesting.
So, and she has other
Okay.
kids. Yeah, so she'd be a good
That's
person.
very cool.
Mhm.
Okay. So this is the kind of stuff we want in the membership. I want you guys to ask questions like this, and then I want to say, hey, let's do a whole month around supporting you with these topics and what would be the most helpful. Like I really want your feedback about this stuff because I want to make this like a really dynamic community that's supporting you and what's going on with you in this moment as a traveling therapist, or what's keeping you from being able to do it and live the life you want to live, because I love this life so much. I want everybody to kind of have a taste of it and
Yes,
help you like get through the roadblocks that might be holding you back a little bit. So that's another part of the membership.
yes, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
that's what we hope to do with the members is just inspire you if this is something that you've been thinking about and like the possibilities. Like you can do it. Believe me. If we can do it, anyone can do it.
Totally.
So it is possible. And there's so many, Kim's already has all these resources just right there for you. So you don't have to patchwork it and figure it out, which can sometimes be overwhelming.
And I'm obsessed with like creating content, so you'll get tons of content. It's like one of my favorite things to do. Um, okay, so let's see. Jenny says, do you travel in Canada? And then she says, do you know about doing sessions while traveling there or in Michigan? If you're not licensed there, can you still provide services in the state that you're licensed in?
Yes. So from my understanding, and I always say like check with your own board just to make sure, but from my understanding for Texas social work rules, laws, um, that I can be potentially anywhere, but my client has to physically be in Texas at the time of the session. So I usually just try to verify that, or if I notice that they look like they're in a different background, maybe like check in on that, just to make sure that my clients are in Texas. But for the most part, I can be anywhere. I think the rule of thumb is to check your own state, like if social work or psychology or whatever you are, and then also the state that you're traveling in. I'll be honest, I don't necessarily do that because that's a lot, but most part, it's pretty much wherever. So my client has to be like in Texas.
Yeah.
I have not traveled to Canada yet. We would really love to go to Canada and like the Banff area. We feel like that's beautiful. We were supposed to do that like 2 years ago, but pandemic and the borders were closed. So we have not traveled to Canada yet, but again, I think it would be the same thing in that your client, wherever your client is, then that's kind of where it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is my understanding.
Yeah, mine too. And with Canada, I can look this up for you, Jenny, because I know you're a member. So I really want to be like super active in helping with research and stuff like this to people that are members in the group. So somebody did give me a resource. It's like the Royal Psychotherapy something. I can't think of the name, but I'll look it up for you, Jenny, and I'll get back to you. But you want to check with them too, depending on like what is it called? Provinces, I guess, up there, wherever you are, there's different sort of things you have to think about. So I will see if I can find that resource for you, Jenny, and let you know for sure about that. But Addie's correct. I mean, if you check with your state board and ask them, where does the client need to be located? Almost always they're going to say that as long as the client is in the state at the time of service, you can be pretty much anywhere. If that other location agrees that you're allowed to practice from there.
Great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see. Do we have any other questions? Jamar commented on Jenny's comment and said, I would love to do international therapy / social work. Yeah. Well, Jamar, you can. Like we were just saying, depending on the state that you're licensed in and that other country, it's pretty much open. Like for example, Mexico has no regulations whatsoever. So you could totally be living and working in Mexico and see your clients back in your state of licensure. Now, there are other nuances that, I hope to really delve into in the membership, but that's things around like insurance billing and, things like that can make it a little bit more complicated. If you're going through a company like Headway or Alma, there are things you have to consider with that stuff, like how you have your practice set up. But Addie's going to be a great resource for that too. Like I think the first month, her presentation she's going to do the first month is just like about all these logistics about being a traveling therapist and talking more in depth about this part of it.
Right. Yeah. And I know like with international too, Kim was talking about earlier, it's just the visa issue. Sometimes with certain visas, you have to make sure you get one that you can like work in and not just be a tourist, because if you'll be working, international. That's kind of like more into the weeds stuff, but definitely can be done. I mean, people do it. And I think one thing is, in some countries they don't really have any regulations with it, so it's kind of like open, with that.
Yeah, Elizabeth says no regulations where I am currently in Mexico. Yeah, so
right.
Elizabeth's there already. But then Jamar says, how ? LOL. I'm a licensed LMSW in Maryland, Wisconsin, LCSW in Connecticut as of June. I may need an international license. So you do not need an international license. It's not a thing you have to worry about at all. Do you have anything you want to say about that, Addie?
Yeah. No, there's no such thing of an international license. So it's really just figuring out if Connecticut allows you to be somewhere else and your clients just be in Connecticut, which a really good place to check that my library Becker and Green, I forget the actual thing, but maybe we could drop it in the link. That's a really good place to check for your state, because it's really simple and they have an app, so you just check that, and if that says that you're good, then whatever country you want to go to, so like Mexico or Europe or what country you want to go to, you would just, from my understanding with international, it's that you just do your due diligence to try to do as much research to see if you find any regulations and maybe like documents showing that you did that. And if there's none, then there's none that you can find, then like there's none. But if there is, then you would just have to read up on their regulations to see if it would be okay that you're there, working and seeing people in the US, which I think, again, for the most part, it is. It's just more of the visas, because sometimes if you're on a tourist visa, you can't necessarily make money. So the visa, I think, is the trickier thing when it comes to international travel. And I feel like in my little limited research, like Portugal is a really good one for digital nomads.
Yes.
Like, easy. They have like a digital nomad visa that's super easy. So that's a really good one. I know with Europe, it can be done, but you're limited to 60 days. Don't fully quote me on this, but from my limited research, and then you have to jump out of the country, or what do they call it? Like they call it
shenanigan
yeah.
or Shanigan. I can't remember what it's called.
It's like
let me look it up.
Yeah. Whatever that is, you have to like jump, like let's say you wanted to be in Italy, so you could stay in Italy for maybe 60 days, then you have to jump out of like whatever category that is to go to a non-Schengen country for I can't remember how many days, and you come back in. So you just have to kind of figure out those regulations, which can sometimes be a little bit tricky.
Yes.
So yeah, places like Mexico are a good one. Places like Portugal are good ones.
In the Dominican Republic, apparently you just pay however long you want to stay. Don't worry about a visa, apparently. Okay, I just lost my page here. I wanted to post this for you guys. Okay, so this is what we're talking about. It's spelled Schengen, Schengen.
Yeah.
So that's the thing you have to look into if you want to be in Europe, and it's like a certain area in Europe. So I dropped the link there if you want to check that out. But that's, like Addie was saying, that's the stuff you really have to pay attention to in with the international stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't need a license. You could see your clients in Connecticut and Michigan, and where else did you say you were? You just check with each of the boards, Maryland, Wisconsin, Connecticut. You just check with each of the boards. And if one of them says you can't do it, that's where another thing we want to talk about in the membership, mindset shifts, right? So it's like, okay, you're licensed in all 3 states. If there's one that's not going to support your lifestyle, like let's talk about if it makes sense for you to see clients in that state, if this is the lifestyle you want to live. So we hope to have some really good, just like social hours and conversations around this stuff where people feel stuck with details like this. Connecticut says, no, you definitely have to be on the state. Like, okay, let's see about transferring your clients to someone else so you could just see your Michigan or Maryland clients instead, Wisconsin or Maryland clients instead,
Right. So. Yeah. And that is kind of like the thing with online therapy too. And actually Kim has a whole course on it, is if you want to get licensed in other states, it's totally possible, and usually not like super difficult depending on the state. It's just tedious with paperwork and with paying the fees, but really totally possible too. That's another option if maybe those doors are closed in your particular state. But again, for the most part, most states are pretty just wherever the client is, not where you are. I think it's is it just New York that you have to do? I don't know.
Would you say, Addie?
Right?
Your internet cut out for a second.
Oh, I was saying, is it just New York where the therapist has to be in a state too? I forget.
I don't know. I think it's dependent on your licensure, because I know Diana Liao, I always say her name wrong, but I know that she's licensed in New York and she's in South Africa right now. So I think it depends on your.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think New York's okay. Somebody mentioned Hawaii, maybe. Never.
I think Hawaii is strict, because I remember people saying that. Yeah, you have to. I think Hawaii is strict. Yeah.
So there's a couple like that, but there's also states, like we're getting into like a whole training, but there's also states that have just telehealth licensure, where you can literally be anywhere and have just a telehealth license and see your clients in those states if you want to. So, that's another option, like Florida.
Right.
Florida, South Carolina, West Virginia, and I think Connecticut is one of those. I'd have to look that up, and that's again like stuff I would do in the membership. I'd really research that for you, give you links and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I don't know if they can see it, but this is like telehealth went away, but that's
I just dropped the link, Addie. I just dropped the link. yeah, the
Where you can
telemental
go
health.
and
Go ahead,
you
sorry.
can go and you can go into your state, and then your board, your social work board or counseling board, and have them all in there, and all of the laws right there in an easy place for you to read. So it's a good resource.
Yes.
And they update it too. It's nice.
Yes. And I'm just looking to see if we have more questions about that. Okay. Yeah, somebody else, a couple people, Stephen, everybody says yes. Shennigan V says, you guys know the name of that stuff. EU with US, Elizabeth says the EU with the US passport in 90 days. So
okay, yeah.
There you go. I hope that helps a little bit. And do you travel in Canada? Jamar says same. How is that possible?
Oh yes, I think you answered that one, right?
Yeah, we answered that, but I'm going to drop the link here for the membership, you guys, because I really would love to have you come join us. Let me go grab that real quick. And I want to show you some other stuff too about like what we have coming up. And do you have questions about the membership or Addie's role in the membership? Let us know while we're all here. So we've got some time. I want to see what you guys think, what you're wondering about. Let us know. Here, let me drop this link here. So the membership is $17.99. It's so cheap. I wanted to make it cheap, even for like, entry level therapists that are still working in the agency and not, maybe making 30,000 a year at this agency job. I still want to make it affordable. So that was my thought process behind, like, I just want to make this super low price point so anybody can join. It's like, it's like 2 Starbucks a month or something, basically, a Netflix subscription, even less than that. So I wanted to make it just kind of like a no-brainer for everybody to come join. But I do want to show you, let me see. Now I'm going to have to use technology here to be able to show you my screen. Let's see if I can do this. This is, let's see. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Let me know. Can you see it on the,
let me see.
How do I make it shareable? Presentation. Okay. I hope you guys can see that, because yesterday I did a live and I was sharing the wrong screen the whole time I was talking. So let me double check. I know. You guys let me know if you can't see it, but I want to just go over like the first 3 months. I think it's showing. Okay. So this is an overview of the first 3 months that we're just kind of like putting together. I've been talking to some of the members behind the scenes a little bit to see what they really want in the membership. So it's going to be a mix of like some serious like training stuff, but also like some fun, because I'm really just more about fun in this membership. I want to bring community together and we can have like different really just fun events where it's not so serious, and like therapy and how to hone our mindset skills. Like that's a lot. I want to do some of that, but I don't want to do all of that. I want it to be like a fun place for us. So May 22nd, this is the big founding members meeting. Like we're just all going to get together and just talk about, what do you guys want? This is where I just want to really pick your brains and curate this thing around you. And then the first like training will be on Monday, June 5th at noon Eastern. And, this is where we're just going to like welcome you guys. We're going to have some fun. We're going to play some games. We're going to get to know each other. We're going to just like talk about where we are in our journey so we can start to build a community together. And Addie will be there with me for that. And then the fun thing for that month I want to do is I'm bringing in Nicole Holst. She is a tarot card reader, which some of you guys might be like, no way. But this is the kind of stuff I'm into. I'm into like fun, like woo-woo, like different kind of alternative things that we can do for fun. So Nicole's going to do a little bit around like intuition and, following your gut, especially like on the road. It's important, if something doesn't feel safe, you need to pay attention to that. So Nicole's going to talk about honing your intuition a little bit, but also she's going to pull cards in the group, like tarot cards, and do a reading for you right there if you want that. And she'll probably do a group like consensus reading too. I've seen her do those and she's so right on. Like I call her
Oh, so cool.
for everything. Like if I'm stressed or anxious, I'll be like, what the hell is going on with me? And she'll like pull a card for me and say, well, obviously, Kim, you're upset about blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, I am. So I'm bringing her in. And then the last thing that month is we're going to have Addie. Addie's going to come in and really talk about what it takes to be a successful traveling therapist and have a traveling therapist practice. So I'm excited about that. The next month is going to be networking, because this is another like what we call like a pain point I hear all the time. It's like,
yeah,
you know, I'm on the road, I'm lonely. Like, how do I like make friends? Like, how do I be social? How do I have that part of my life? And how do I still keep professional relationships going? So this month I was going to focus on that. And this is actually Addie's idea, but Shayla Peterson is amazing. She's a military spouse, so she's moved about 100 times, and she considers herself a traveling therapist, but she's an expert in networking in new places, even if you're going to be there for a month or 2 months. She's really good with that. So she's going to come in and talk to us. And then we're going to have a virtual speed networking event. It's going to be like a speed dating, but speed networking. So I'm going to do like breakout rooms and have us all like exchange resources and just have a lot of fun. And then we're going to have virtual yoga. So I think the person that's going to do it has committed. Her name's Heidi. She's going to come in and just do an awesome yoga class for us. And then I'm going to add a pre-recorded webinar about seeking peer support while on the road that I already have in the traveling therapist course. So I'm going to add that in so you guys have access to that too. That's what Janine Wolf, she talks about consultation, basically like how to keep consultation groups going in your life if you need that as a traveling therapist with the work that you do with clients. So that's the networking month. And then the third month is remote work essentials. So I didn't like say this comment yet, but I saw Jenny where you put like, how do I manage a VPN and internet and Wi-Fi connections and all that stuff. So this is where we want to get into the really nitty gritty about this. We're going to have a panel discussion, and Stephen, this is where I'm volunteering you too. I haven't talked to you about it yet. Panel discussion with Andrea Shipley. She lives in a school bus. She was just like in Baja, Mexico for a while. She's got Starlink on board right now. So she's really knowledgeable about, I know, I was going to tell you, Addie, because Addie was thinking about Starlink too.
Yeah.
So Andrea's going to talk about Starlink and how that's working for her. And then Addie, I was going to have on the panel, and Stephen, who lives in a van, and myself, and all of us just talk about how we manage internet and what to do with it in different situations. And then the next one after that is Lyeth Dalton. She is from Person Centered Tech. So she is an expert in remote therapy that she knows everything there is to know about VPNs, HIPAA compliance, how to protect your client's information on the road. You know, should I use like Hushmail when I'm on the road? Should I be using a VPN in this situation or this situation? She's an expert on this stuff. She's going to come in and do a Q&A and a little presentation around that, just so we can be sure that we're being super compliant on the road. And then the fun thing for that month is a guided meditation and mindfulness workshop with Morgan Levy. So she's an expert in mindfulness. And I know one thing on the road for me is I get super lost sometimes in my work, and like I'll be in a beautiful place, you know, like we're at Lake Tahoe right now, and I'll just be working all day. Like I'll be head down, like not being mindful of my surroundings and really trying to live in the moment. So I thought I would bring her in and have like a really fun workshop on that too. So that's the first 3 months.
Yes, that looks awesome. I think it's such a good mix of like information and hopefully questions answered, and then also like fun, because I definitely do think that piece is a big piece. That's actually what me and Stephen talk a lot about, is like the loneliness on the road, how sometimes it can be hard when you might have your normal. I think might be lonely as a therapist, right? Because we're not used, or we can't. Oh, did I lose you?
Yeah, you're breaking up just a little bit.
Oh, sorry about that, guys.
That's okay. But you said
on the road. So just loneliness and not having a colleague down the hall, and how tough that can be, and kind of having to be intentional about reaching out or seeking out that extra support. I love that we're talking about that.
Me too. Yeah. So that's my vision with the help of others for the first 3 months. So I want it to be a mix of fun and, you know, all the other stuff, the fun, but some of the serious to help you be super successful. Because I know that these are like the major pain points where everybody struggles. So I hope you guys will join us. And I'm excited about Addie's role and how she's going to help everybody in the membership and her presentations. Let me see. Do we have any other questions or thoughts about any of this? Let's see. Okay. Oh gosh, there's lots of comments. Are you okay on time, Addie?
Yeah, I'm okay on time.
Okay, cool. Let's see. Links to regulations. Let's see. Jamar says, what other content will come with the membership outside of the profession? I'm looking for more of the nomad RV lifestyle or affordable housing ideas. Yeah, Jamar, like totally. We will do all of this. I want you to help me shape this. So if that's what you want, we're going to like focus on that stuff for sure. And probably
that's the cool
do.
Thing, yeah,
Oh,
about being a founding member is if you have stuff that you want, just tell Kim and she'll make it happen.
Yeah. Like I'm obsessed with this stuff. So if you tell me you need to know about something or you need some resource, like I will be on it for sure and planning a month in advance. That's why I only did 3 months out right now. I do have ideas, but I really want to get this like first 3 months going with all of you and shape it together. So, if that's the kind of content you're looking for tomorrow, I want to talk to you about it. I want to know that. I want to help you. And then Gabrielle says, yes, we can see it. Hi, Gabby. Yes, we can see it. Okay, thank you. And Steven says, I'd love to. So Steven's going to be on that panel about internet connectivity. And he said, I would love to. Yay. Okay, awesome. And then Elizabeth says, it sounds like by the end of the 3 months, one would feel confident in pursuing this dream of being a traveling therapist. Thank you, Kim. Aww. Thank you, Elizabeth. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, Gabby just said something. Thank you, Gabby. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot. All right, so I secured 2 bonuses for people that sign up from here until we close the doors on this thing, which is, I think it's May 21st is when we're gonna like shut the doors down and stop that founding member price. But I secured 2 bonuses. So you're gonna get 2 extra super fun, exciting things. And one of them is Gabrielle, who's watching us right now. She's a Zumba instructor. So we're going to do Zumba. We're going to do like a group Zumba class together. So if you sign up for the membership now, you're going to be able to get that bonus with Gabby. Gabby, what date did we decide? I think it's the 16th of June at 12:30. Is that right, Gabby? It's a Friday in June at 12:30. We're going to have a really fun Zumba class. I'm so excited. And then Megan Smith-Gunnell, one of my business besties in the whole world, she's going to come in and do a whole like free just training around building retreats if that's what you want to do. So a lot of therapists that want to travel will build retreats so they can like go to these places before and after the retreat and spend like a month there and do the retreat and make money that way and help others but still be able to travel and see the world. So Megan's going to do like a super awesome bonus for you guys too. So I'm excited. So these are the bonuses you'll get aside from everything else that we're already going to do the first 3 months of the group.
Yes, yeah. That sounds awesome. And Gabby will be doing a sound bath too, right?
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. How could I forget that? Tomorrow. Thank you, Addie. Tomorrow here, also part of the free preview week is Gabby's going to be doing a sound healing sound bath with us. And I had one with her in Costa Rica and it's like heavenly. I mean, this thing is awesome. So she says, yes, I'm doing all the things. Yeah. Gabby does Zumba, sound healing, burnout prevention, coaching, anything you need, running a group practice, insurance billing. Gabby can do it all. But tomorrow she's going to do the sound healing with us. And that's going to be awesome. I can't wait. I need it, Gab. I need a little bit of sound healing. So I'm excited about that. So I hope you guys will come join us then. And if not, there's a replay and you can totally watch it and still get the benefits from what she's going to do.
Yeah, I got to do her live one the other day that she was on stream and it was so nice. And then I've been sometimes listening to him before bed to like help me. So they're really nice and they're excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, she'll do pop-up sound healings on her Instagram sometimes. So
yeah.
Drop your IG, Gab, so they can go see your replays over there too. But tomorrow at, what is it, noon tomorrow, Eastern, we're going to be doing that. Oh, she said it made me so happy that you came live, Addie. Oh, sweet. So, okay, guys, well, let us know if you have questions. And I'm just super excited. Addie, I'm so glad to have you on board. I just think you're awesome. From the first day I met you, like, just your energy is so warm and fun. And, so it was like a no-brainer. And I was like, I want a coach for this membership to, help with the trainings and help guide the group. And I was like, Addie. And she was like, yes. So it worked out perfect. Yeah. So, okay.
Yes.
All right. Any more questions? Yeah. Anything else you want to say, Addie?
No, I'm just super excited. Yeah, this is like my passion. I love to do this. So I'm happy to share knowledge and information and support and guidance. And yes, I'm happy to be here with Kim and just love the mission and everything about it.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Okay, you guys, thanks for coming live. And hopefully we'll see you tomorrow with Gab. And hopefully you'll sign up for the membership. We would love to have you guys in. Like I said, super low price point. It's like a no-brainer because you're going to get so much awesome content. And Addie. All right. Well, thanks, guys. And let me stop streaming this. Okay, bye, everybody.